So I was having a debate this week with a friend about what is the shortest sentence in the English language. The shortest complete sentence, because is a sentence in a sense. And we struck on the two-letter sentence be, period. The verb, the predicate, is be. Mrs. Stevens, my fifth grade teacher, would want me to say the word predicate. Who knows what the subject is of that sentence, be? Oh, Mrs. Stevens would be so disappointed in you all. The subject is understood you. And so if you're diagramming it, it's a line, you're welcome, Mom, and a slant, then the word you in parentheses. Understood you. Any command in the English language, the subject of is understood you. And it made me think that the most simple idea, the most perhaps simple way we can express a complete thought in at least the English language. There are many more beautiful and useful languages out there, as we already heard today from Jamin. It makes me wonder about how simple faith might really be, how simple the things we think about, or maybe I tend to overthink about standing right here for all of you every Sunday, might be a little simpler than I thought. Carol introduced the idea of faith so beautifully, bringing in some ideas about faith. We heard, even in Transylvanian, in Hawaiian, in already many languages, questions about faith and belief. And what does it really mean? I mean, a faith can be a tradition, like we're in right now, that Alandria's reading talked about. It can also be a belief, faith in something. I have faith, that something will happen. For a lot of people, it is believing in something impossible or improbable. Some call faith the opposite of fear. I don't know about that. I think I need faith to face all the fear there is in the world myself. I get a little concerned when people start saying things like, well, if you don't have fear, then you'll have faith, or you have to have more faith if you have fear. Even Wally's laughing at that. That's right. That's not the way it works. Some call faith the assurance of things hoped for. Faith can be a lot of things to a lot of people. And as Tim sang, sometimes we're just running on faith, but that's a song by an old songwriter, sung by an old blues man, now sung by our own Tim. And sometimes I feel like he's saying running on faith, but he means running on fumes. Sometimes when we say we're running on faith, what our heart is feeling is we're just running on fumes. We don't got anything left. We don't know why we're getting in the car to do the errands we're doing. We don't know why we're putting on our Aloha shirt to go to church. We don't know why. We don't know why. We're just running on faith. Sometimes faith, like we heard in Alandria's reading, is a community, is being in community. It's almost that we don't have much left of ourselves. We've got to go to other people to feel something, to understand our connection to the world. And as she put it, faith can be a terrible thing. It can be gathered to bring about multi-religious dialogue, and someone can walk into a sanctuary and shoot people. Talk about running on faith. But we have to make our faith our own. I don't normally tell you what to do, but this, I'm telling you what to do. You got to make your faith your own. And it's hard because there is such a disconnect at time, a holding back. Even I hear it here. Sometimes I wonder if we're more into the idea of our faith than the faith itself. if we're more into the ways that Unitarian Universalists are the farthest left, if we are the most this, the most that, the most historic, we have connections to the coolest transcendental poets, we have these ideas and this music that we share of all these ways, and it is beautiful, it is, but is that our faith? Is that my faith? Or is it something I'm enjoying that's kind of out in front of me? We've been recently, these last few weeks, looking at this idea of doing a welcoming congregation for ways of loving. I just want to tell everyone part of my own belief, my own faith doing this, and I love our LGBTQIA plus community. I'm in it. I'm part of it. But where is the welcoming for our Black, Indigenous, and people of color metric? And so our worship team, in connection with other groups, is going next year in 2022. Since the UUA does not have such a program, we're going to do our own. And that's right. We will be intentionally in worship. As much as we try now, we will be intentionally making sure in measured and appropriate ways that, at least for me, this is what I need for my faith, to see it expressed in ways of the people that we love around us in this land, the people that we love in this church, the people that we love in this community in our lives. The Black, Indigenous, and people of color will be truly represented in real ways so that this faith we hold dear won't be just something we are looking at. It will be something we are feeling. Because when we are feeling faith, really feeling it, we're getting into something a little tough for some people. We're getting into intimacy. A friend recently told me that, I think he said, my whole life now is just about intimacy and kindness, and that's all that matters. Everything else is just kind of window dressing. And what does intimacy with our own faith really mean? What does it mean to feel that connection and not just watch a connection? Is it scary for us? Yeah. Is it going to hurt us? Could our faith let us down? That's a really good question, because I think it's more likely when I am looking out at something else, some other person, some other scheme of faith, that is much more likely to let me down than my own understanding of what I believe, what I hold dear, what I have faith in. See, at its root, intimacy has 3 stages. Self-expression is how it starts. We express something. Then vulnerability follows. We are then vulnerable to those around us, having expressed what we said. And then when that vulnerability is met with care, with kindness, with understanding, with innovation, with creation, with beauty, that is when intimacy comes. Faith that you will be there for me. And the first step of that, even before self-expression, before there was any movement in the universe, in this heart, in this mind, was what? Just be. Period. Understood you. The shortest sentence many of us know is also the shortest road many of us might ever take toward spiritual growth, to having ourselves understood you, be. It is possible that one of the shortest sentences there holds all that a faith like ours, that a faith can ever really offer the world to each and every one of us. It is the sound that pulses from a universe that wakes each one of us up in the morning. It's the sound that echoes in every beat of every heart so long as it may beat. Be. It's the sound that calls to those we love and says, keep Hawaii safe for trans lives. That says Black lives matter. That says stop Asian hate. That says defend Hawaii. That says end anti-Semitism. That goes on and on. That is the beat. Be. be, and on in a chorus of simply letting one another and all of our siblings, all of our loved ones be and be entirely themselves. Some faiths proclaim the mystery of faith. I pray for all of us that we will begin to know the intimacy of faith, that we might understand ourselves even better as we express who we are to others, that we might be vulnerable in the sight of our community and yet know that we are loved, that we might know an intimacy here with one another, with the community, but most importantly, with yourself. Help me, Brother Tim. Start. And that you will let it change and grow the way that you love yourself, that you will let it blossom into the world around you that we know, that you will let it deepen, that you will let it shine, that you will let it crack the very foundations of fear and give you new life, that you will do all these things, but that first you will simply just let it be. May it ever be so.